Hey, welcome back. It's Ashley Sweeney. I'm your registered dietitian. We're going to talk more about gut health today, and specifically talking about yeast, candida, and histamines. I've done another video about histamine, so go back and check that out if you haven't had any idea what I'm talking about. But if you have random skin issues that you might be dealing with, some random bloating, rashes, yeast infections, itchy skin, some stuff like that, then this video might be for you. And just remember that sometimes our body is signaling things that are going haywire on the inside, and they express themselves outwardly on the outside in our skin, in our emotions, in our bloating, and all of that stuff sometimes has to do with what's going on in our gut. And so today, Candida is something that we're going to talk about. Candida is a normal part of our gut microbiome. However, when it grows out of control, it can cause problems. It loves sugar, stress, antibiotics, and hormonal shifts. Some of the symptoms you might have if you have an issue with Candida overgrowth are things like brain fog, sugar cravings, bloating or gas, yeast infections, rashes, including sickle ones, like maybe they happen before your period, and fatigue after meals. Now, what does yeast have to do with histamines? Well, yeast, like Candida in the gut microbiome, can trigger histamine reactions. And histamines are natural chemicals that occur, which are involved in immune responses, digestion, brain function, and more. But again, the problem is when they become out of control. When there's too much, it's like your body is constantly in reaction mode and it overreacting to anything and everything that is producing histamines. If you think of histamines like a bucket, when that level continues to overflow and there's too many histamines, you might get things like hives, rashes, runny nose, just that constant nasal drip, anxiety, and then sensitivity to things like red wine, chocolate, vinegars, and fermented foods. Now, this doesn't happen because it's your fault and you've eaten too much of those things. Chronic stress will raise your cortisol, which can lower your gut immunity, which can help Candida and yeast to thrive. Antibiotics, even from childhood, might have wiped out some of that gut microbiome, some of the things that are protective to helping yeast not overgrow. You might have some dysbiosis of some of those gut bacteria. You might have more of the ones that produce histamines. You might have less of the bacteria that break down histamines. And then you might have some breakdown of the enzymes DAO and HAMT, which help to break down those histamines. And those things can be caused by genetics, nutrient deficiencies, or gut damage. So how do you even test for this? How do you know if this is a problem? Sometimes you don't even need a test to understand that this is an overgrowth and this is a problem. DAO levels can be tested with a blood test, but it's usually expensive and it's not ran very often. And then you can also do a GI map, which will test for different bacteria levels. So it'll show you which bacteria are histamine producers if you have an overgrowth of them or they're populated way too high. And then you'll also see if you have levels of low bacteria like Akkermansia or some of the bifidos, and those help to break down the histamines. So you can see your gut bacteria levels, and you also see yeast DNA and how much yeast overgrowth is happening and occurring inside your gut microbiome. And then when we have data and we see the actual numbers, we can see where the real problem is or which is the biggest culprit. Some things that you can do right now, though, are to reduce your histamine load by the diet that you are eating. Reduce the foods that are high in histamines, like some of those red wines, dark chocolates, fermented foods, and especially leftovers. Making sure you're on a good magnesium and a vitamin that has B6, which can help break down those histamines. You want to make sure you're supporting your gut with polyphenols, which help feed the good bacteria, the Akkermansia, and some of the others to help them really flourish. So that's lots of fruits, veggies, the brightly colored berries and stuff like that that have a lot of color and a lot of nutrients are in the polyphenols. Also making sure you're doing like cooked veggies, which are gentle on your gut. And you can also try a probiotic that will help to break down some of the histamines, which is a Saccharomyces boulardii type of supplement that you could try. And the third way is to reduce stress. Like, seriously, get your stress under control. I'm not talking about taking bubble bath and journaling and meditating. I mean, those things just feel like you're adding more pressure on. I'm talking about things that actually reduce the load of your mental stress, and really try and focus on ways that you can do that to reduce your cortisol levels. And if you feel like it's your kid that's experiencing some of these symptoms, first thing first is to cut down some of that sugar, because the yeast feed off the sugar and they're going to continue to thrive. So to seriously cut down on the sugar in their diet. Second thing is you could try some of the Sac Boulardii supplement. And if they can swallow pills, you could try some of the Monolorn, which come in these little tablets. And you can see what those look like. But those help to fight down yeast. Hopefully this is a quick and easy video for you to understand the connection between Candida and histamines and your gut microbiome, and some easy things that you can do to start taking action now, and to understand if maybe that's something you're dealing with and some ways that you can take care of it. Your body's not trying to attack you. It's actually trying to protect you by giving you these signals saying something's out of whack here. So make sure you're listening to your body and trying to do things about it sooner rather than later, so that it doesn't continue to flourish and your weeds in your gut continue to become out of control. Make sure you're subscribed so you can get more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.